You know who this is. But if you need a reminder, hi, it's me, your boyfriend slash girlfriend slash day friend, favorite content creator. And we are at the end of the year, essentially. We have like 2 more weeks, then the year's over. And I just wanted to say it has been an interesting year, to say the least. I have felt the shift. I made a video on it, but I felt the shift in the gaming sphere, especially online, of people just really tired of this shit. And by this shit, I of course mean this anti-woke, slop factory ass content that people have been peddling hard this past year. I came upon a video from a man called Tony Sino talking about how grifters ruin gaming. And of course he's right. And you want to know how I know that he's right? Because all the grifters jumped onto this the second their Roach and King mentioned it. Suddenly, tons of videos being made about this guy when they previously had never even seen this person's content before, which means he's doing something right. But that got me thinking about a post I made on Twitter, I think a couple of weeks ago at this point, that I kind of just forgot about. And that was a response to those prompts, but usually it's like a engagement bait, right? It's like, oh, here's something, you know, what's your favorite game coming up, yada, yada, yada. But this one in particular was, what is something that'll have you, what's a gaming take that'll have people like looking at you like this? I'm posting on the screen right now, so if I'm misremembering it, there you go. And you can see my response, which was, white supremacy is ruining gaming discourse or online gaming discourse. And again, I was immediately proven right. The comments you're seeing right now are the good ones, but I'm going to link, now that's been a long enough time, I'm going to link my tweet to this video so you guys can click on it for yourself and see how immediately right I was. And that's what I want to talk about today. Expanding upon that idea, right? I just wanted to give a shout out to that Tony video. You guys should watch it. I'll also link that because it has really good points. Obviously, I've made a couple of these points throughout the years I've been talking about that, but still, always love to see other accounts, bigger accounts with more videos or more viewership than I have, talking about these issues. I also seen it from, like D'Angelo Wallace did a video referring to these grifters, or this, like, their tactics as a whole. You have bigger people doing this, which I think is fucking awesome. Obviously, like the Birdman, right? Yeah, people doing that too. So his is not really in the gaming sphere, whereas like mine is, but whatever, right? I'm just saying it's nice to see these sentiments echoed. But when I was talking about white supremacy ruining gaming discourse, I know anytime people hear the word white supremacy, they want to roll their eyes. They playing the race card. I'm not playing the race card here. I am telling you a very specific thing, a very real thing that's been going on, because white supremacy does in fact ruin everything. But in this case, we're talking about gaming discourse. How many times have you looked up a video and you saw people talking about it from a, let's just say, a phenotypical standpoint, right? Talking about the character's skin color. That is white supremacy. When they go through videos and they're saying, look how many brown people are in the game, that's white supremacy. I remember a guy online made a post on Reddit talking about how there were too many brown people or black people in the background of Expedition 33. Now, obviously, that game has been getting a lot more attention, and deservedly so, because it's the game of the year. But to go through that game and to be like, there are too many black NPCs, that is white supremacy. That is a function of white supremacy. Anytime there is someone who is not white or hetero, that heterosexuality is also important to white supremacy, or doesn't have typical Eurocentric beauty, which is also core to white supremacy, it's an issue. And they will never frame it as such, as a white supremacist issue, but it is an issue for them. Even when the characters, for example, happen to be white. Misogyny also plays a part into maintaining white supremacy. It's not just this like one specific thing. It is a system. So you can analyze it from different angles, but it's all part of the same system. Every time you hear them talking about this game is woke, and then they make up excuses, right? To make you upset and angry. It's only woke if the lead character isn't a cis hetero white guy whose only emotion is gun and That's it. Everything else by their definition is woke. That ruins discourse because you can't get to the meat of anything because their grievances are imaginary, made up. Again, we're at the point now where you have certain people mad that Ghost of Yote was a success. And so they're making videos about Erika Ishii eating popcorn and then creating fanfic of this Japanese woman that, oh, she's upset that she lost to Jennifer English. And then they will go and then make videos about Jennifer English talking about the fact that after she won, she was talking about how she's gay and queer love won. Why? Because again, now we're getting to the heterosexual component of things. Why you gotta be gay? Why do you have to put that in my face? White supremacy is the ideology of the weak. It is the ideology of people who quite simply cannot handle reality. And that is what's seeping into all this gaming discourse. Anytime there's a black person in the game as the lead, it's a problem. Anytime there's black people as a background, it's a problem. Anytime there's a woman in the game they can't jerk off to, it's a problem. Anytime there's a woman in the game and she's the lead, it's a problem. Anytime a woman doesn't look exactly how they imagine their fantasies, it's a problem. Everything's always a problem. And it's the Western ideologies that are bad. Why? Because they believe that people should just exist how they want them to exist. Not how people truly are, but how they want them to exist. So they will idolize the East and like they figured out all the women in the East and their games are super hot and they're demure and I can control them. And if you think that's not through white supremacy, I would implore you to look up the term yellow fever, okay? Or Orientalism, fetishizing another race. Also part of white supremacy, ironically, I know, but still a part of the same systems. These are people who cannot just look at a video game on its own merits and go, this game doesn't work for me, and that's okay. But the reason why it doesn't work for me is because I feel like this story's been done to death. I feel like they have homogenized their vision so everything sort of blends together. I feel like the mechanics are so out of date, or again, it's repetitive, or it's something like that. They could be like, oh, you know what? I don't really like The Last of Us 2 because I feel like they were going too much for shock value. Okay, that is a criticism you can have. Or it's, you know what? I just feel like I enjoyed the story better in the first game. Also, a criticism you can have. Maybe the story felt weaker certain parts. Also a criticism you can have. But you know what you're mostly going to see? They don't like Abby. Why? And they will say, now spoiler alert, you didn't play this game. So spoilers right here. They will say, oh, it's because Abby killed Joel. But that's not really true. That's not really true. Not really. It's because they thought Abby was trans. And she's muscular, so she must not be a woman. And then, oh my God, she gets the sex scene. The ugly trans-looking woman gets the sex scene, but not whomever else they wanted. Why didn't they make Abby have big bouncing titties? Like that is the majority of their arguments. It's just like when Stellar Blade was coming out and they had 100 clips of her going up and down the ladder and you didn't even know you could play with a sword in that game. That's how much they weren't focusing on that. They're focused on the body types. They are trying to control how women look. They hate that. Exercise and control, right? They want that. They don't want women to have autonomy. That's why they're even doing this now with the current Tomb Raider shit. Whether it be the TV show or the upcoming games. That's Lara Croft, that's Larry Croft, that's this, that's that, right? All of this is a function of white supremacy. It's maintaining their idealized version of whiteness and purity. So their women can't be muscular, and their women must be white. And if they're going to be any other race, they have to be Asian because there's a whole subset of Asian fetishization over there too, right? Which is why when you look at a lot of the AI models they train off of, when they say we made them look pretty, they typically give them, right, Asian features, Eastern features, even though the person they are, fixing has none of those features. That's what makes them look better to them. All of this plays within that. So when I'm talking about it ruining gaming Discord, that's a part of it. The other part is they don't even talk about the game anymore. Remember when you were talking about, keep politics out of these places. Guess what? They are jamming politics into everything and then saying that other people are doing that. They're saying people like Erika Ishii got hired over, I forget the actress's name from The Boys, who plays Kimiko, which is a lie, and making up shit saying that, she wasn't like Japanese enough or whatever and having enough credit. Fanfic. And they're saying Erika Ishii is an activist, and activists are taking over gaming, but with no actual substantive claims to back that up. It's just they feel like it. Oh, well, they're activists. They have to be activists. These multi-billion-dollar companies are all run by activists. It's the activists who want to push AI and get rid of voice actors. It's activism. Like, obviously, it's not true. But again, this is what they do. They will create these fanfics. They will make these hallucinations and then trying to force that to be reality and then say, well, of course it's true because look how woke they are. Look at their person's politics. We want to keep politics out of gaming. You can play Ghost of Yote. It's not going to turn you into a leftist. There's no part of Ghost of Yote where they look in the camera and like, we hate ICE and you should too. There's nothing like that. However, there are overtly quote unquote anti-woke games that'll be like, man, white supremacy sure is awesome. Hi, The Great Rebellion. Like, there are right-leaning games that are just like, yeah, you know what? We need to get rid of these minorities. Like, they're the ones pushing politics into everything. Because again, they can't handle not being in control, not being the number one. They are the ones, in fact, injecting politics into everything. Because the way they look at things is either it's right or it's wrong. Not that it's creative, not that it's a new story. It's just right or wrong. Again, every time there's a game that comes out, they create 100 different controversies. Oh, well, why wouldn't they continue with the same character? Because they want a new story. And it's always contradictory too. It's the same groups that would be like, let developers develop a game. If the game was like sexy school nurses in your face 3 or whatever, and then people were like, that's a bit gratuitous. They're like, oh, you guys don't want the developers to just make their games as long as the game is good and they really targeted for adults, so why do you care, But then if a game has like a character that can kiss a boy and they're a boy, they're like, no, they're pushing homosexuality onto us. How dare they push a sexuality onto us? Anyways, I'm gonna play sexy hetero nurses 3 with the bus slider fucking DLC. And it's just like, but again, everything that they do, their entire worldview is so fragile, which is why you see them having to vigorously defend it against any perceived slight. You can't even have characters that have the option of being gay in the game because that's forcing politics down their throat. It's forcing it. Oh, but we have a background character who's not white. Well, this is equivalent to The Great Replacement at this point. Like, it's just so like, man, how do you go through life like this? How do you let your mind get so brain rotted by white supremacy that you can't enjoy a goddamn thing? Everything is an attack on you and your whiteness, no matter what. Even when there's white people in leads, they'll be like, well, he's emasculated. By having a female lead, they're emasculated. Or their perfect example they always go for, Marvel Spider-Man 2. Oh, well, Peter Parker's a cuck. He's cucked because the person who is ostensibly the second fiddle to him, the, second Spider-Man, Miles Morales, who is Spider-Man, or Spinner, which is fucking dumb, and I don't want to get into that whole argument, but who is quite obviously not the main character potentially co-lead, but not like the main character. The story revolves around Peter. They'll say he's cucked because Mary Jane, who got training in between games, can now use a gun, and like Miles wasn't like super aggressive, even though I did do a react video debunking that claim. You guys can watch that. I'm linking a lot of shit today. But because he's not breaking people's skulls, which he was never doing, he's a cuck. This Peter Parker is essentially the same as the first game, just maybe a little bit more mature, but also not so much because he's dealing with a bunch of other shit. And they're like, oh, he's a complete different character. He's cucked. And they call it cucking because, of course they do, but they call it cucking because other characters were also evolving too. That was their issue. That's always their issue. They need the main lead white dude to be the best at everything all the time. If there's even a person that even talks down to them, whether that person's right or wrong, they'll be like, see, they're pushing his message. They were upset at Indiana Jones. White guy, whitest white guy you could possibly imagine. Not a race swap, nothing like that. And they're mad that in Indiana Jones, the Great Circle, the female lead talked down to Indy. As if that doesn't happen in every Indiana Jones movie. Indy isn't this like crazy toxic male. But they have this idea of what a man should look like. In the lead, he's white, he's stoic, and he's tough. And that's it. And no one can ever permeate that aura of toughness. If they do, they're trying to emasculate white men across the board and not trying to show different sides to that. Like, that's such a weird fucking thing to me. Like, you understand if they're only going to show white guys this one way, what they're saying is you're one dimensional. You're not a human being. I don't know about y'all, but that seems a bit reductive and honestly low-key racist, no? Like, do you only want white people to be seen, white men to be seen as like these emotionless, non-feeling, stoic dudes who are just like, it is what it is, and have no character development, no nothing, no hook to them? You want every movie, every game you see a white dude in, he's going to be the same person. No matter the genre, just the same person. He's just going to be a lamp. You can replace him. It wouldn't change anything. Or do you want characters with depth? Like, that's what they don't understand too. When we talk about representation, it's not the checkbox stuff, right? Like, they think that we're okay with, oh yeah, we'll just darken their skin and call it a day. No, we also want to be represented in the full breadth of humanity. If you can have Nathan Drakes who are quippy and, make jokes and make light of things and have like wacky adventures, and you can also have like Doomslayer, both still white guys. Why is that not allowed for other people? Why are you so against seeing the humanity of people who are queer, people who are trans even? Why are you so against seeing the humanity of minorities? Why do you only need to have it presented to you in a specific way? They will bring up, oh, we love CJ. And like I said 1,000 times, they love CJ because CJ was a gang member. He was presented in a way that was palatable to them. But if you have a black person who's in the star or one of the members in a fantasy game, let's make mods to make Will white. So your problem isn't his character. Your problem isn't the fact that he got shafted compared to the rest of the cast. Your problem is Will's black. So let's make him white and now you'll play as him. You don't think that's fucking weird? But this kind of got all over the place, which is typical for a video of mine. But yes, laying point, white supremacy has ruined discourse because it poisons the well. You can't have any true conversations. You can't even engage with mediums in a more analytical sense because you have these people who are just like, it's woke and bad. That's why. Too many brown people. Or it's like anytime something gets announced on Netflix, like, oh, they're gonna make him gay and black. Like, you can't just be like, damn, I'm tired of Netflix having adaptations that either don't understand the source material or they are just empty cash grabs. Like the Electric State. Electric State completely butchers the source material and the ambiance he was going for. But no one was calling for that to be taken off. But oh my God, Netflix bought Warner Bros., people are immediately like, oh, well, now Batman's going to be black. Now Superman's going to be black. Like, that's your go-to? You're just racist? You create these fandoms in your head and get mad and get on the internet and go, like, oh my God, look at make this character's queer. It's like every Andy Pants video thumbnail, which is they're going to be gay, black, and disabled and trans. Okay, wait. So when I want to get like a decent thumbnails, I use a website where I can download YouTube thumbnails. But I have to click on a link. So I click on this link, and to highlight the point I'm making about how, he always puts like gay, black, and trans or whatever in his thumbnails for certain videos, I click on this video and look what the first thing that pops up.
Do you guys remember this video I made?
So this is what this is what the thumbnail was for that video he made 10 months ago, right? Look at the thumbnail now of his video with this video, the new Call of Duty's Unbelievably Cringe. Look at the thumbnail. It's, oh man, it's, thank you for being so predictable. Because those are the scariest things. Someone being different, that's the scariest thing. Oh, they're ruining their favorite character. They're your favorite character because they're white? That's crazy. Peter Parker's my favorite character in fiction. Peter Parker sure as hell not black. I don't like him because he's not black or because he's white. I like the character. You can like characters. It's just, it's so reductive to live in this existence where just because of the color of your skin or your orientation, that everyone thinks that if you achieve any sort of status or success or are represented in any way, it's some sort of affirmative action. It's some sort of, you couldn't get it on your own. And it's never like, damn, we put a lot of barriers in your way. Damn, we made it so that people who look like you have it way fucking harder. And yet here you are, and we're trying to make amends for that. It's never that. It's never onus, because white supremacy, again, is fragile. It cannot self-reflect. It, in fact, goes out of its way to make sure that the mirror is always pointed towards everyone else and never to them. And that's why this shit's annoying. And that is why I'm so glad I'm seeing other creators, like I said before, bigger creators addressing this anti-woke grifting bullshit. That's just the biggest like symptom of it, is this anti-woke grifting shit. You see it so much here. And it makes me happy that people are like, we actually hate this shit, because you're constantly bitching. You're constantly bitching, even though you've won, right? Trump is in office, wokeness is dead and whatever, you're still upset and mad. You're making videos about someone eating popcorn. You're not addressing the materialities of anything. You're not talking about their harmful rhetoric. You're just going, this person's woke, and therefore their arguments are not worth engaging with. I've gotten that thrown at me, and I'm like, I've engaged in the anti-woke argument. I know the argumentation. It's easy to defeat, but you guys don't care. You want to be mad and just say, but the world's against me. No, it's not. Oh, I can't be white. Yes, you can be. But you also shouldn't be tying your identity to a fucking video game character. I'm sorry. They're not real. Like, they're not real. If you're mad, if you're legitimately mad because Lara Croft's bust is not as big as it used to be in the 1990s, you need to get help. You need help. If your first thought when you hear Blake is being adapted is, I hope they don't make anyone black, or I hope there's no black people in leads, or I hope there's not too many black people in it, you need help. Like, you need actual help. If you're looking at a game trailer and you're analyzing the background, not because you're a fucking nerd and want to get clues about what the game is about, but because you saw a brown person and you're like, well, this is in medieval England, how could that happen? You need help. White supremacy is ruining you. Okay, this is long enough. Like I said, though, I'm so glad that people are finally just getting sick of this shit. It's awesome, honestly. But if you haven't, go watch the Tony video. And, you know, maybe watch some of my grifter playlist videos. It's there for you to watch. I made it for you.
Why are you still here?